Hey YouTubers, welcome back to the channel. It's your pal Eddie here for another video. In this video I'm going to talk about my top 10 movies in my collection of 1989. My top 10 horror movies in my collection of 1989. So yeah, without further ado, man, let's jump right to it. Now, before I begin, this is my opinion, my preference. you know uh Nostalgia has a big part, has a lot to do with it. So these are movies that I kind of constantly rewatched, and you may not agree with some, but it's okay. We all have our opinions. To me, 80s is the best decade, because I grew up in the 80s, obviously. To some people, the 90s might be the best, or some people might say the 70s, which they're good too. I love 70s and 80s and 90s and 2000s, even 60s, even before I was born. But anyway, let's start off, you know, with the ranking. And coming in at number 10, we have Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. Yeah, this one is not like, it's not great and it's not bad, but and it's definitely not the best in the franchise either. It's not the worst. So basically, this one, throughout the film, it just takes place in a boat. It takes place in a in like in a ship. You got a bunch of graduating students from high school. They're graduating high school students, and they're going on this boat ride to Manhattan. And Jason climbs aboard, and he's killing people, in the boat. He's just, Jason is taking a little cruise, takes a boat ride to Manhattan. Once they get to Manhattan, which is, I believe, the last 20-15 minutes, and that's kind of like where it really gets better, the last 20-15 minutes. I like it when once they arrived in New York. So again, the film is not all great, but it's okay. It's all right. It's directed by Bob Hedden. Um, so yeah, number 10, Friday the 13th, Jason Takes Manhattan. Coming in at number 9, we have an anthology film called After Midnight by director Jim and Ken Wheat. I guess they're brothers. Um, yeah, this anthology film it's pretty good. It's basically about these students in college. It's from this university, and they're taking this. I don't know if it's like some class that the professor is explaining to them about fear, and that fear, you have to feel fear to understand it, or something like that. And then the university, it led the sensory of the class by the university. So the teacher invites them to their home, and he talks about these three stories. It's an anthology film, and one of them is called The Old Dark House, and there's A Night of the Town, and All Night Operator, or something like that. Those are the three stories, and it's pretty good. I enjoy it. This anthology film doesn't really get talked about. When you mention anthology movies, this one, people don't talk about this one too much. I think it's really underrated, but I like it. It's worth a watch. After Midnight, coming in at number 9. At number 8, we got Halloween 5. This is again, Michael Myers trying to hunt down his little niece, and his little niece doesn't talk in this one. She's kind of like mute. Um, it's not bad, but it's not great. You know, it this one, like, there's a connection between the niece, the little girl, and Michael. Like, she knows where he's at. It's kind of like they added a lot of supernatural elements to this film, and that's kind of like what throws it off. And I like the kills, though. It's got some really good kills. It's got some really good kills. Uh, so yeah. So number 8, Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. Coming in at number 7, we got Leviathan, kind of like a sci-fi horror, basically about a mutant that was the product of a failed experiment. You got Pete Peter Weller in this. He's pretty good in it. It's been a while since I've seen it. I need to rewatch it, but I remember really enjoying this movie. So yeah, Leviathan coming in number 7. Coming in number 6, we got a Wes Craven movie called Shocker. This is a pretty good one. I like Shocker. You know, it's basically about a serial killer who comes back from the dead after being electrocuted. I think he was in the electric chair and he comes back from the dead, sent to, he uses electricity or something like that. Kind of a weird. And he just takes revenge on the one of the football players that turned the men into the police. So it's, and then you got the theme song, "No More Mr. Nice Guy" by Megadeth. It's an Alice Cooper cover. Yeah, I like it. So yeah, coming in number 6, Shocker. All right, coming in number 5, we got Parents. This is kind of like a dark comedy. It's got a little bit of humor, but it's also got some horror elements. You got Randy Quaid. He's good in this. So basically, it's about a boy who suspects his parents that they are cannibalistic murderers. So so yeah, it's a fun one. If you haven't checked out Parents, check it out. I have it for number 5. Coming in at number 4, we got Warlock. This is a Best Run Collector series. You got all 3 movies in here. It's a good collector's. But Warlock, the original Warlock, did come out in '89. It's about this witch hunter and this warlock who travel from the 17th century to the 20th century. And the warlock, he's tries to bring an end to the world or something like that. So it's been a while since I've seen it, but it's a good one. Warlock coming in at number 4. Coming in at number 3, we have an Italian film called The Church. Yeah, I think Dario Argento wrote this. He didn't direct it. It was directed by, is that Michelle? I'm gonna botch that name, so I'm not even gonna try. Or Michael. I don't know. It's an Italian name. So basically, it's about this cathedral, this Gothic church that is built like over a grave, like a mass grave, and it has these powers. And the people inside are trapped in the church with ghosts from the 12th century, and brings up this ancient demon. And you got some awesome practical effects. You got some pretty good gore. Yeah, The Church. It's a fun one. If y'all haven't seen it, and if you like Italian horror, I recommend it. Number 3, The Church. Coming in number 2, it's a slasher. I love this slasher. Intruder. This is a good one, man. The kills are brutal. They're amazing. Like so many great kills in this one. Basically, it's about these people who are working at a grocery store and they're gonna close up. So it's after hours, they close up, they're cleaning up, and but there's this maniac who's stalking them and killing them one by one. Great slasher, great kills. Yeah, Intruder. If you love slashers like me and you haven't seen Intruder, I highly recommend it. Good movie. Good movie. That was at number 2. And at number 1, we got a Stephen King adaptation, Pet Sematary. Yeah, I love this movie. It creeped me out when it came out. I was 17 when I saw it. 17 when it came out, and it creeped me out. Basically, it's about a father, a family who loses their son through to a tragic accident, and there's like this burial ground behind his house. It's like a burial ground or whatever, and this old man tells him about it, and it has the power to raise the dead. Bring the dead back to life. So he goes over there and buries his son. The son comes back, and he's not the same person. He's not the same little boy. Yeah, so that was my number 1 movie for 1989, Pet Sematary. Yeah, guys, that was my top 10 in my collection, horror movies of 1989. Let me know what you think of them. Well, let me know your top 10 of 1989. The comments section down below. I'm pretty sure there's some there that I didn't put on my list, but just because they're not on my list doesn't mean I don't like them. Because there's a lot of good ones. It's hard to rank movies because there's so many good ones out there. But you know, I always go with nostalgia. If I see them, if I watch them growing up, and they have this rewatchable value, they're gonna make my list. And so yeah, that was my top 10 horror films in my collection from 1989. Yeah, if you like the video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell for more upcoming videos. Thanks a lot, guys, and I will see you in the next one. See ya.